Well, tonight I've not been very fortunate with Congress spokespersons. Let me introduce Abhishek Manu Singhvi, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party, joining me on the news hour tonight. Also joined, Shiv-Sena's Rahul Narvekar is joining the debate tonight, though I must say this is not just political. I'm joined in the studio by a resident of Jaitapur, a strong points of view on this, Raja Patwardhan. Big debate tonight. Also joined by the preeminent nuclear scientists, M.R. Srinivasan, former chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, and Dr. A. Gopalakrishnan, two sides of the story, former chairman of the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, and Praful Bidwai. All of you, thank you very much. I am privileged that you have all chosen to join me on the news hour tonight. My first question goes to Abhishek Manu Singhvi tonight. Dr. Singhvi, the government, as in the centre as well as the state, and you are in power in both, appear to be so rigid. People are being shot at when they are protesting. You can say they have been fielded by political parties, being pushed by political parties, but when the people are against a plant, and your government in the past and your party has been for the people, in the case of Orissa, you've stopped projects because of the people. Why are you being so rigid in the context of Jaitapur's nuclear park?
I hope Arnav will give me at least a couple of minutes to answer. There is no question of condoning wrongful violence. The basic issue is, was the police trying to protect on a mob which turned violent or otherwise? This will be inquired into. You can rest assured we are a vibrant democracy and there is no question of crushing protest. We are not like China, we are not like other countries. Let's look at the larger issue. The larger issue is that nuclear plant or any project for that matter cannot hang in the air. If your principle of protest from the local population is a decisive factor in locating or commissioning a plant or a project, you would never have development in any country. Remember, India is a proud democracy which has full transparency at 10 levels before a project like this gets commissioned. There is the Atomic Energy Board which looks at safety design. There is the Ministry of Environment which gives a reasoned order in November 2010, point by point. There is a NPCL which has to look at all other aspects of fuel waste and reprocessing. There is an appellate tribunal where you can go if the Jaitapur residents feel there is not proper hearing. After all this, a project is just started. It will be commissioned only in 2018 in the first phase. We ignore that carbon emissions from coal and oil are much worse. Nuclear energy is cleaner. We ignore that we've spent almost 5 years in the 123 agreement and the consequential amendments to the capping issue of nuclear liability. We have full democracy, we hear everybody, but ultimately development must also go on.
But Jairam Ramesh writes in a letter to the Prime Minister.
Do not think for a minute, one second, Arnav, 1 second. Do not for a minute think that we are insensitive. Even 5 years down the line, if you, I don't mean you personally, but I mean a person like you was to give any credible fact which makes this plant unsafe, everything in India will work towards stopping it. But let's not stop it with speculation. Remember, Fukushima in Japan is testimony that 8.9 on the Richter scale, nothing happened to the plant because of the earthquake.
No, but I am asking you
what
about...
What happened was that the coolant system got destroyed because of water.
No, I'm asking...
And Jaitapur is 72 feet in the air, not 72 feet above sea level.
I will ask the other point of view, and I would like to know on that issue, but I also want to point out to you, Dr. Singhvi, that Jairam Ramesh himself wrote to the Prime Minister in his letter on the 7th of April 2011 that the government should not be dogmatic, though he switched tracks 1 week later, and he said, and I quote, "I am well aware of the technical and economic advantages of a nuclear park, but when there is a risk perception, we should, in my view, not be dogmatic." That is not me saying it, sir.
I must answer that. It's very important. No, very important. You have to start the story, Arnav, by a 28th of November 2010 detailed 7-page order by the Minister, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, giving reasons why he is approving Jaitapur. That's the basic order. Please read it. Please put it on your television channel.
In its entirety.
Point by point. No, you have. I'm saying for the viewers.
Yes.
Number 2, what he means by April and subsequent is, what everybody means is that the Japanese investigation is going on. Each day, each week, each month, you will have new inputs on the lessons to be learned from Japan. Every input will be lapped up by every project, including Jaitapur in the world, and scrupulously it will be built into the project. It doesn't mean that China or other countries will stop their nuclear program because Japan has happened. It only means that we will keep making tailoring and corrections, and if Japan throws up something per se that you cannot have it in such areas, well then we will take action.
But till then hold on
today,
it.
It's an ongoing investigation. No, but we are taking input
But till
from
then
it.
hold.
There is nothing.
Till
this
then.
is a project
Till then.
Arnab-based project will start in 2018.
No, but
please.
But then why this desperation?
The first phase of Jetapur will start 2018.
No, but then why this kind of action against the people? Why this kind of action? Let me get in.
Action against the
Let me get in. Let me get in. Shiv-Sena first, gentlemen. I want to tell all my eminent scientists tonight. I want to just complete the political part of the debate, and I'm coming straight to you. My question to the Shiv-Sena tonight is: I have somebody in the studio, Rahul Narvekar, who's a resident of Jetapur, who is saying that you have changed your track. Now you are against the project. Earlier you were for the project. And there is a charge the Shiv-Sena is doing all this, creating trouble in order to gain relevance. Is that not a very opportunistic way of looking at it? But I would like Raja Patwardhan to make that point to you. You could tell the Shiv-Sena representative tonight what your charge is.
I am not telling only to Shiv-Sena representative, I am telling to everybody. There is a resolution passed in Maharashtra Assembly, GR, TPS 1290/CR 120 UD12. It gives Jaitapur and surrounding area, Taluka Rajapur, 2,000 hectares of land reserved for industrial development.
What's your point?
This is the resolution passed by the Sena government when it was in power, and Suresh Prabhu, the then power minister, was in center, and he came to our area as a local MP and said, I have brought this project.
Right.
And then now he changing his side because the people are opposed, number one. So Shiv-Sena was never against the project. They promoted the project, reserved the land, 2,000 acres, number two. Number two.
Let him respond to you.
All right.
Okay, let him respond to you.
Yes.
Okay, make your second point quickly.
The second point quickly is Ram Naik, who was the railway minister and the petroleum minister in the central government, inaugurated Tarapur atomic nuclear units number 3 and 4
yes.
in 1998, telling that this is a national urgency.
So you are saying that it's a kind of a clear change of line.
So BJP supports it, Sena supported it, and today they are opposing the project. In 2010,
I want a political
when the debate
response.
was going on for last 5 years.
I want a political response. You've discovered the issue tonight because it's a clear way for the Shiv-Sena to get relevance. Yes, Rahul, go on.
Well, at the outset, I would like to clarify the points which my fellow panelist has just brought on record. Number one, he needs to get his facts cleared. This project, which we were never against any project per se. We are against the approach of the government with regards to this project. We are against the manner in which they are trying to dump the project on the heads of the people who are going to get affected by the project. That is our opposition. We are not per se against development. Development has to be sustainable development.
How have you discovered?
If the people are against such development, we will not allow the government to force such development on the people. When we passed, now let me come to the facts. When we passed the resolution in the assembly, that resolution was particularly for reserving 2,000 hectares of land for industrial development, not for a particular nuclear plant.
Suresh
so please
Prabhu
get your facts clear
came to the power as a power minister, and he came to our constituency and said, I have brought the project. And he has mentioned it in his review of 1 year work and taking the credit for this project.
Okay, now my question to Praful Bidwa is, let me get the other perspective in. Gentlemen, it can't be lost in politics. Though you cannot get away from the charge that the Shiv-Sena's position has been inconsistent. But that's not the issue. I no longer believe that the political debate should pervade everything. My question to Praful Bidwa is, before I come to the preeminent scientist tonight, and Abhishek Manu Singhvi, since you challenged me, I am holding up the copy of the same clearance that you mentioned here today. If you want, I can read parts of it for you. But I will mention I will read certain parts later. I've got a copy and I have a follow-up question. Praful Bidwa.
You also need to go into the background in which this clearance has been given.
I have the background with me.
This clearance has been given on the basis of...
I have this background with me.
It's been given on the basis of an environment impact assessment which is done by an agency which has absolutely no experience with regards to nuclear projects.
Now my question
this has been given without considering the waste management aspect. This has been given on the basis of a sham hearing.
Yes,
Rahul,
let us come to the experts now. My question to Praful Bidwa first is, Praful Bidwa, do you think this new debate will give a twist to the Jaitapur debate? Or do you think the rigidity will change? Do you think the project can be put on hold?
I think well, I hope piously and sincerely in a democratic spirit that it will lead to a serious debate of the kind we are seeing in Japan. A month after the disaster, the Japanese Prime Minister yesterday says, I used to believe in the assumptions about nuclear safety. Today we have to review them radically, think out of the box. I want those assumptions to be questioned. Now, countries like Germany, Switzerland and China have put their future nuclear projects on hold. This is a very important lesson, and it's only a handful of countries like Russia which has a very poor safety culture and doesn't care a lot about radiation and so on and so forth, and India, which are blindly following this. Now, I think the least we can do is to have an independent review of all our nuclear installations by a committee that consists of experts from outside the Department of Atomic Energy as well as insiders, and in the meanwhile put all future projects on hold, including Jaitapur, and revoke recent clearances for nuclear projects which were granted hastily and for political and strategic reasons.
Okay.
Mr. Ramesh is on record as having said to a number of delegations, this is not just an environmental project, it has economic, geopolitical and strategic implications. I cannot stop it. And the environmental impact assessment report indeed is shoddy beyond belief. It doesn't have data, basic data on biodiversity. It doesn't have a perspective on radiation hazards. It doesn't mention nuclear waste. It doesn't it deals with it as if it were a coal-fired power station. You can't have a shoddy environmental impact assessment report.
Now we have
I think those clearances need to be revoked.
Now we have had this debate some time back, and I will ask you again tonight, Dr. Srinivasan. The nature of the debate, Dr. Srinivasan, is changing. There has been violence. One person has been killed. It's no longer just a pure scientific argument. It's about the people.
Well, Arnab, I must tell you that I'm also shaken by this violence that has taken place in Jaitapur and surrounding areas. Very unfortunate indeed. You know, we are now talking about the Japanese crisis, and one thing that we must note is how, in spite of the very severe adversities they are facing, they address their problems in a civilized manner. I wish we'll take that lesson out of this Japanese experience. Having said that, let me also say the following. We must take all lessons from Fukushima, as indeed we have done in the past. When I say we, I mean the nuclear community around the world, lessons from Chernobyl, lessons from 3 Mile Island and so forth. There is no question that nuclear technology cannot just pass over these incidents as something inconsequential. We have to take full note of that and draw the lessons and strengthen the safety measures, which may include equipment, it may include designs, it may include training of personnel, additional instrumentation, additional auditing and so forth. All that must be done. But let us remember one thing, that we also have to provide electricity and energy to a very large population, 1.2 billion, and our options are very limited. We are facing power cuts in every part of the country, and it keeps on happening every summer. And at that time we find that there are really no options available, and therefore the industry suffers, the agriculture suffers, domestic and business activities suffer, and we've got to keep on accepting that as an inevitable part of our life. Now, all these projects take a long time to plan. Now, we have really not done as Chinese have done. The example of China was mentioned. Certainly, they have called a halt beyond 25 reactors that they are now constructing. They are not stopping the 25 reactors on which they have taken decisions. Now, I agree that at no stage should we underplay the importance of safety, but we are actually taking decisions rather slowly and deliberately. Now, some of the decisions we have taken to speed up nuclear energy is simply because we have gone through a very slow process of growth over the last 10 or 15 years due to various reasons, including isolation, especially with regard to access to uranium.
These are larger strategic...
Now, our own reactors, 20 reactors, no, please, let me complete, Arnab. Our own 20 reactors are operating satisfactorily, and after the Fukushima incident, we have made a quick review of the safety status of these reactors. Some more additional provisions will be made, no doubt, and even the design of Jaitapur, which is yet to be finalized, will derive full
So
benefits
then-
from the experience
so
of
then-
Fukushima.
so-
Now the Japanese, wait a minute. Now the Japanese Prime Minister saying he's reconsidering the situation certainly is understandable. Please remember, Japan, the whole of Japan is in a highly seismic
Yes,
zone.
but
with
sir-
extremely high seismic
but-
activity, which is not the case of India.
but sir,
you
it's the-
cannot just simply overlook that fact.
No.
And I must repeat, Jaitapur site is a good site.
But doctor-
it is in a relatively modest seismic site. It is
No, but
far
doctor-
away from any potential high
if there are all
tsunami
these ifs and buts,
activity, seismic
my own-
activity.
No,
But the question I do say that we must certainly see to it that the people around who are going to be living there are
Well-
told all these facts in an objective manner, and their
But the entire- but they are not being.
confidence is also sought.
But they've not been.
We cannot have all this kind of
but-
violence going on.
No, but
It's
they've
very
not been.
unfortunate.
But they have not been, and that's my point. They have not been. For
No,
a plant
but
as
look-
sensitive
but
as
look,
Jaitapur,
yesterday-
there has to be an
but
open, transparent communication.
No.
Let me go to Dr. Gopalakrishnan once. Just once to Dr.
For a
Gopalakrishnan.
police station.
Once to
what
Dr.
is the
Gopalakrishnan,
justification
sir.
for a police station to be torched?
I want to go to Dr. Gopalakrishnan. You're also a nuclear scientist. I'm sure you also have interest in nuclear power, achieving the development objectives of this country. I want you to respond to what Mr. Dr. Srinivasan has said tonight. Dr. Gopalakrishnan.
I totally disagree with Dr. Srinivasan. The country is moving with a notion of an extremely exaggerated nuclear power requirement, which has not been on any techno-economic basis. The government has not justified it. Now, chronologically, what has happened is
Well, look, I want
the
to
Prime
intervene
Minister
there.
has gone ahead
Arnab,
and...
Let him
No,
complete
please,
and I'll come to
please,
you,
Dr.
Dr.
Srinivasan, please,
Let him complete.
please keep quiet.
No,
Dr.
Arnab,
Srinivasan, you do
Dr.
this all, at
Srinivasan,
all
let him
times.
complete.
I think, please ask Dr. Srinivasan to keep
completely
quiet.
wrong.
Dr.
Because
Srinivasan-
Dr. Srinivasan, you please
Committee,
keep
the
quiet.
Planning Commission.
When you, Dr. Srinivasan,
Dr. Srinivasan, I
when you were talking, I did not disturb you, and you have this habit of interrupting.
Dr. Srinivasan, I request
No,
you,
no,
let him
please.
complete, I'll come to you. Let him complete, I'll come to you, Dr.
You are
Srinivasan,
not
after that.
the most
The integrated
preeminent.
energy policy of the country, which
Dr.
is
Srinivasan,
an open
will you
document,
just
is
just
worked on by many
listen?
experts outside the atomic energy system. So you must go by such documentation
Okay, fine.
prepared by
You
the Planning
just-
Commission.
Now
And
let's-
not on the basis of just
I know of all your
Dr.
documents.
Srinivasan
I
means
know your
a
documents.
civilized debate.
If you
Dr.
knew,
Srinivasan.
you would not be making the
Civilized
statement you're
debate?
making now.
Dr. Srinivasan,
You
let
would not make the statement you're making
Arnab,
now. if you-
Dr.
if you had seen
Srinivasan,
the
let-
document.
Anna, please ask Dr. Srinivasan to shut up.
One second. Dr. Srinivasan, I would request
not a
you,
civilized
I would
debate.
request you, Dr. Srinivasan, I know you have strong points of view tonight. I request you, just let Dr. Gopalakrishnan make his point. I will extend the program if required
No,
to
but
make
look,
sure
but
everyone's
look,
point
I'm
of view is
suggesting
included.
that one must take a look at the integrated energy policy
Sir, I
committee's
agree.
report,
But let's have a
which is an
diversity of
important
opinion.
document of the country.
Integrated.
No, let's have a diversity of opinion.
Doctor,
Yes, now Dr. Gopalakrishnan, you can have your say.
Dr.
Yes.
Srinivasan,
Yes, please. Yes.
Dr.
Go ahead.
Srinivasan, I am aware of the integrated energy policy and all the documents that you have seen, I have also seen. You are a member of the Atomic Energy Commission. You are speaking on behalf of the government. I am giving you a counter view, and you please listen to it first. The point I am trying to make is that the entire thing started with an unwarranted promise to 3 countries by the Prime Minister to import a certain amount of nuclear power. And this is why the nuclear policy today starts with the assumption that 40,000 megawatts of imported light water reactors are absolutely essential for the country, is the thesis that the Department of Atomic Energy is putting forward. I would strongly question it. I think it is merely to justify
that
the
is
Prime
not the
Minister's
issue today.
Let him complete, let him complete.
Today. We are
No,
not talking
just
about
keep
40,000
quiet.
Sir,
Just
please
keep
let
quiet,
him
Dr.
complete.
Srinivasan.
Let us
Sir,
talk
please
about
let him
Jaitapur
complete.
today.
Just
Sir,
keep
please
quiet.
let him complete.
Because,
Please.
because
Yes,
of this,
Please. Yes.
because
Please
of
talk
starting
about
with this
Jaitapur.
40,000
1 minute, sir.
megawatt of. No, I am not. I haven't come to talk to you about Jaitapur. You talk what you want to. I am trying to tell Amitabh my part of the
No,
story.
today's point is Jaitapur.
Dr.
Not
Srinivasan,
about the 40,000 megawatts.
you
We are talking about Jaitapur.
Dr. Srinivasan, it is tied to the 40,000. You are camouflaging it. The government is camouflaging it. You represent the Atomic Energy Commission, which is party to this false policy creation which is going on. and you are very much part of it. And therefore, you please keep quiet and listen
Look,
to my
you have
point.
seen, you have seen
The
that
40,000 megawatt has led to a
Advani on behalf of BJP has also said that he is
No, no,
for
you just-
nuclear cooperation
You-
with the international
you-
community.
Arnab,
You have seen
Can
that
I
from
please
the
come in
beginning.
now, please?
He hasn't dissociated himself
Please
from
cut
that.
off
And
Dr.
he is
Arnab,
running
would you ask,
for
would you ask
one,
Srinivas to
Ridiculous.
shut up?
in 2008
This man is a